Thank you. Today marks the 13th anniversary of my father's passing away. He was a true symbol of strength and patience. His departure left a great void in our lives, but his legacy remains alive in every aspect of my journey. My father, like my mother, was a true leader. He taught us that leadership is not about titles or positions. It was about actions and daily sacrifices, and that's what made him a great leader. Today, as I remember him, I realize that his journey was the beginning of shaping my deep understanding of leadership, which transcended geographical borders and became a journey from survival to a broader vision. Now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine a place where leadership is not about ambition or career growth. It's about survival. It's about making sure your neighbor has enough food today. It's about creating hope where despair is the norm. That place was home to me. I grew up in Al-Baqa refugee camp in Jordan, one of the largest Palestinian refugee camps in the world. A place filled with resilience, but starved with opportunity. A place where leaders did not sit in corner offices. They did not attend networking events. They were the mothers who found a way to feed their children when they had nothing. The young men who organized soccer games in streets filled with rebel. The elders who told stories about a land they could no longer return to, keeping history alive in the hearts of next generation. Leadership in Al-Baqa was not about a title. It was a necessity. As a child, I didn't know we were poor. I didn't know what poor means. What I knew was that every single day I saw my parents and community fight just to make the impossible happen. There were no leadership development programs in Al-Baqa. There were no TED Talks on how to be a great leader. There were just reality. And reality meant you either helped or you watched others' struggles. I remember my mother carefully managing every dinar my father brought home, stretching it as far as possible, just to ensure that all 7 of us had enough. Not just for food, but for school supplies, for clothes, and for the dignity of feeling that we never had the less. She was the heart of our home. She was a pillar of strength. She raised us with respect, dignity, and deep-rooted ethics. But her influence did not stop in our doorstep. In every neighborhood we lived in, and believe me when I say there were many, she became a reference for other women, a source of guidance and support. offering wisdom and kindness, giving an example of resilience. And my father, an architect by education, but a taxi driver by necessity, would leave home at 6 a.m. and return close to midnight, exhausted but determined, just to put enough money on our table for the next day. Despite the weight of the unfulfilled dreams, he never let us feel the burden. He showed us that leadership is not about seeking titles or positions. It's not about showing off. It was about perseverance. It was about showing up every single day, no matter what the odds. Together, they have led, not with words, but with sacrifice, love, and an unshakable commitment to their family and community. And that was a leadership. I didn't realize it then, but those moments were shaping my understanding of what it truly means to lead. Years after, I left Jordan to pursue my master's in international relations and security studies in Sultan Qaboos University in Muscat, Oman. And that was a turning point. Although I was still in the Arab world, the culture, the rhythm of life, even the delicate was unfamiliar. I was once again in a place where I had to start from scratch. To support myself, I worked as a waitress, an experience that taught me the humility, resilience, and adaptability. Eventually, a year after, I became the head of the printing office in the Scientific College of Design. And leading that office was not a small feat. I had to navigate a demanding work environment, prioritize competing tasks, coordinating between students and instructors. I created internal systems, strategies to mainstream operation. I designed new policies, conducted training workshops, and ensured that that office is working efficiently from inventory to the print quality. At that place, I learned how to lead through clarity, structure, and again, adaptability. In many ways, Oman tested my ability to lead through an unfamiliar systems while staying rooted to the values of services and responsibilities I carried from Al-Baqa. After 1 year, while I was writing my first chapter of my thesis, I had to return to Jordan, where I found myself in the opposite side of what I used to be. not as a refugee, but as someone who works inside refugee camps, but this time with Syrian families displaced by war. And for the first time, I saw leadership through a different lens. It was not just about immediate survival anymore. It became about service. It was about empowering people to reclaim their dignity, even during displacement. It was about helping a young Syrian girl to continue her education when her world torn apart. It was about working with families who lost everything, showing them that loss does not mean the end of their world. But here is what changed me the most. It was to see a true leaders emerge in time of scarcity. When everything is stripped away, when resources are limited, when hope is fragile, it's then when leadership is trusted. It is very easy to lead when you have everything. But when you have nothing, it is when leadership becomes a choice. After 6 years of working with refugees, life took another turn. I moved from refugee camps in Jordan to Claremont Graduate University in the United States, pursuing my PhD. At CGU, leadership was different. It was not about survival. It was structured. It was well-resourced. There were systems in this place. At CGU, I came to realize that I'm holding two leaderships within me. The resilient, the community-driven leadership that forged in Al-Baqa and the Syrian refugee camps. The second is the structured, the institutional leadership I'm navigating now in academia. So, when I started working in Student Life and Diversity and Leadership Office here at CGU, I discovered that leadership is not just about authority. It is about collaboration. It is about creating structure. It is about fostering a long-term change. Yet, although this new understanding of leadership, I stayed deeply rooted with the values I carried from Al-Baqa. That is why when I saw a gap of representation, I didn't hesitate. I decided to take a step forward, and I did what any leader could do. I created the place I needed. I founded the For Palestine Club here at CGU, a platform for dialogue, for cultural exchange, and for advocacy. It was not just about Palestine. It was about giving a voice to the unheard. It was about bridging the gaps between communities. It was about leading with understanding. And today, here I am on this TEDx stage talking to you because of my journey that taught me that leadership is not about power or privilege. It is about courage and vision and the willingness to serve. Some of the greatest leaders I have ever known were never invited to a conference. They have never ever had a LinkedIn profile. They never gave a keynote speech, but they know how to lead. Now, in the end, I leave you with this question. What does leadership mean to you? Is it a CEO? Is it a politician, a professor? Or does it look like a mother finding food for her child? Or a displaced father who is rebuilding his family's life? Or a refugee student who is daring to dream beyond the borders placed over them? I here challenge you to rethink of what leadership is really mean. Because true leadership is not about leading for yourself. It is about leading for others. True leadership is not about where you are. It is who you are. And that, my friends, is leadership knows no borders. Thank you. Was good.